We're just checking the audio. Yeah, we put them to work.
Hello?
You gotta hold it. You gotta eat the mic.
Hi. Hello. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. So still getting better at this myself. How many times it's been. So take a deep breath. Thank you all for coming this evening to the 2024 annual meeting of the Old Greenwich Association, and we welcome you all. Thank you so much. So, oh, well, I got through that. Thank you. So the board is scattered throughout the room, and we welcome you all. I think we need to ground ourselves always in remembering why the Old Greenwich Association exists, and that's to preserve our community. A big catch-all, but that can mean a lot of different things. So we hope in this grounding once a year, we bring you a lot of speakers from across town to let you know what's going on in Old Greenwich so that you can engage on that. And we hope to always be a conduit for that conversation. So always reach out to us if you want to talk or if you need to learn more. And hopefully this evening will help you in that effort. Yes? Okay. Just some business before we get to the speakers from this evening, and that is Mark, as secretary. Okay.
Give me ban for 2 seconds.
Oh, God. Okay.
Okay. I thought you were going to do the update first. Yep.
The update. Okay. So last year, here's our update. So last year, we had our scavenger hunt in May. Did any of you know about that or participate in that? We followed the Historical Society and did one of our own in conjunction with them, which was amazing and special and different. And I think we have some pictures later, but we celebrated our 50th anniversary at the Point, at the Innisarden Cottage. There we are. So cute, right? So we had that, I think, in September. So that was pretty neat. And a lot of you were there, and we did a potluck. It was very great. It was really super sweet. So scrolling. All right, so business. We are welcoming 3 new board members, one of whom is returning and 2 are new, and we're very lucky for that. And if anybody else in the audience is interested in getting involved, please let us know. But let me tell you about those 3 new members, and we'll vote them in with you if we could. So we have Alexis Vulgaris, which is a really big deal. Where's Alexis? There you are, who had been a member of the Old Greenwich Association board for a good 10 years, while also on the board of directors as secretary. Currently, of course, serving as moderator of the RTM and on the RTM for the past 18 years. Also member of the Old Greenwich Garden Club, very, very important because it all starts from there. We know that. And of course, extensive involvement with scouting. So thank you so much for coming back to us. We're really grateful and we really appreciate it. Thank you. Erica Jacoby, just put your hand up, Erica. So Erica is a great one. She and I work together as co-PTA presidents at Old Greenwich School, and she is deep into that involvement at Old Greenwich School on the PTA. Currently chair for, current is the PTAC facilities rep, chaired Pumpkin Patch, acted as first VP, treasurer, assistant treasurer, and VP of fundraising. I don't know that there's a role on the board of the OGSPT that she hasn't done, so she can't quit us. And does a lot of work also with Putnam Indian Field School and also with the Fairfield County Swim League. So a great volunteer in the community, and we're happy, and I finally got her to come. So I'm really pleased for us that Erica Jacoby is going to join us hopefully this evening. And Ed Mortimer with the last name, where is Ed? There you are. So this is a big legacy thing for all of us, and I think we sort of need to have one of him on the board. So indulge, this is fun, right, Pete? This is the good history stuff. Your great-great-grandfather was George Mortimer, who came to OG in the late 1800s. Then your great-grandfather was Walter Ferris Mortimer, and that family had the compound, as you say, just off Sound Beach on Mortimer Lane, which is now Willow Lane. And it was the dairy farm, the Pines Dairy. So that's fun stuff. And there's so much more that comes with that. So I'm hoping Ed is that guy because I love digging into that. That's why I went down the rabbit hole together with everybody on the Historical Society. There's just so much. I know Pete wants to help us with our archives of the OGA. So Ed's a great resource for that. And besides that, a great volunteer. Being on the board of the American Red Cross, president of the Greenwich Chamber of Commerce for a number of years in here, Greenwich. Helping with initiatives for the United Way and Kids in Crisis, and then part of the initial steering committee for the founding of Soundwaters, and coaching youth soccer for Parks and Rec. So not too shabby, lots of amazing volunteers in this room. So thank you that we can be a part and we're all joined together. So hopefully, Mark, can you do the parliamentarian thing and vote everybody in? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mark Ducray. I'm the secretary of the Old Greenwich Association. So let's get this. This is the official business for the meeting, then we'll get to the more interesting stuff. But our bylaws stipulate that the members elect directors at our annual meeting by a simple majority of those present. The size of the board is not less than 7 or more than 21, and 4 of the directors shall be president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. The proposed slate of candidates for 2024: Carolyn Peterson, president; Victoria Martin Young, Vice President. And I'd also like to thank Darren Schneider for his work as Vice President. He's going to stay as a board member.
Victoria, do it, you get shot.
Yeah.
And Darren, which we thank Darren very much for being in that role, but still on the board. Sorry.
No, thank you. Thank you. Yep. Alan J., Treasurer.
Husband.
Yep. Mark Ducray, Secretary. And our board members: Allison Barlow, Amanda Bates, Ryan Swan Hackett, Erica Jacoby, David Johnson, Larry Brogno, Matt McCabe, Ed Mortimer, Joanne O'Hara, Darren Schneider, Alexis Vulgaris, and Michelle Waugh. Secretary, open the floor for nominations. Hearing none, I make a motion to close nominations and to elect the proposed slate of candidates. Someone so moved? Do I hear a second? Second. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Well, that was easy. Thank you. So congratulations to everyone for the 2020 being a 2024 board member. Thank you very much. And Carolyn, here, you can have some more fun here at the mic.
Okay, so we are going into speakers. Fred is on his way, so he will circle back when he arrives. And we have a special new announcement. Come on up, you can do it. Come on. Okay. So this is my daughter, Kate Pereira. And come over this way. And Sharon Muir. I'm Sharon, that's her mother, Orla Muir. Here. All right. So you want to explain?
Yeah.
Explain.
Hi, I'm Kate Pereira, and I'm a sophomore at Greenwich High School. And I'm Orla Muir, and I'm also a sophomore at GHS. We have created a junior committee for the Old Greenwich Association. We believe this committee will help create new volunteer opportunities for middle and high school students who want to have a positive impact on Old Greenwich. We are going to do this by working with our neighborhood organizations and by finding them volunteers. We look forward to seeing you around town.
That was good. I get nervous. That was good. So we think that's really neat, right? A junior committee. Seems very obvious. Great, thanks. And the plan is that it should be a legacy program that will continue on and grow. So it starts with these two. It's been put out on social media. If you have any children that you are encouraging to the same, put them forward. I will get them work. And they have reached out to, do you have that slide?
I'm trying to get that slide.
Sorry, they're to do this. But they've reached out to many of the partners from this evening to say, we're here, we're going to get stronger and bigger, use us. Okay?
I'll pull it up. Sorry.
Okay. So, Jim, your turn. Jim Michael from DPW with the meaty stuff. Yeah, this is the OGA Junior Committee and who they've reached out to. So if there's anybody missing and you have their need, just let us know.
Yeah, if you go. Thanks.
No worries.
All right. I'm going to call it up. I've just got to call it up. Yeah.
So I'm Jim Michael. I'm the Deputy Commissioner of Public Works, and I just got a couple slides here to go through that'll tell you what we're doing in Public Works. And then if there's any quick questions, I'll try and answer those. So the first thing that we got going on is the Old Greenwich, Eastern Greenwich Civic Center. So the Cohen Eastern Greenwich Civic Center is on schedule, working well. Should be finished up with the most bulk of construction sometime over the summer and opening in the fall. So we look forward to that. No major concerns or anything have gone on during construction, so they've been doing a very nice job. So that's the first thing. Up next on my list is the Wescombe Wood Road Bridge. They are continuing to work. The goal is to have that completed sometime probably in this late spring, early summer, hopefully fully done by around the 4th of July. But we should be good to go there. And thank you for everyone's patience on having that road closed during this time. The next thing we have going on is over near the Civic Center. We've been doing some drainage work. So we started that around Thanksgiving time frame. We put in some drainage piping over there. We're going to be continuing to do some replacement of the roads over there. Some new crosswalks for the Civic Center between the Civic Center and the parking lot. And then we're going to be looking at adding to the drainage network to improve that up Forest Avenue a little ways. As part of that, just upgrading the existing size of the drainage piping. So that work will be starting in the spring. Hopefully it should be done by early summer. The next one got a lot of attention this past fall, but is the multi-use trail. So where we're at with that. So what this is a combined effort between us and the city of Stamford to look at creating a multi-use trail between Binney Park and Macuzzi Park in Stamford. So what is this process going to look like? We're going to be getting a consultant on board. Once that consultant's on board, which will probably be sometime mid-spring, then we'll be going out for public outreach to find out what locations are feasible for this, what locations are desirable for this, and what the community is looking for. So at this time, this is where we're at. There hasn't been any firm path selected. We will be exploring multiple routes. So just be aware that this is coming, but there's no plans to start construction tomorrow. So I know there was a little confusion there in the past that the purpose is to try and get some outreach from the community on this. So, and then the next thing is on a similar note, the town reached out to or applied for a grant through the federal government in what they call the Safe Streets for All program. So this program is a program that is to try and promote safer roads. There's a national initiative called Vision Zero. It's to try and reduce the number of fatal and serious injury crashes to zero. In doing that, there's multiple different ways to try and do that, but we applied for a grant. We got $400,000 to help us put together a plan, which we're calling our Traffic Safety Action Plan. And so as part of that, we're going to have multiple outreach events to try and find out from everyone what are your big concerns related to traffic? And we're going to be doing these events across, they're all going to be held at Town Hall. There will be a virtual option as well as in-person option. We're going to try and request them and have people come by area of town. So there will be an Old Greenwich Riverside night, and there'll be a Central Greenwich night, and there'll be, you know, a Western Greenwich night. So we'll have those available. If for some reason the Old Greenwich night comes out and you have something else going on, come to any of the nights. There's no firm thing that says you can't come to any of the nights. If you want to come to multiple nights, you're more than welcome to. But these nights are intended to get feedback from you on what things are important to you. Is it a specific intersection? Is it you want more sidewalks? Do you want a sidewalk in a certain area? We're looking to get targeted information back to give us a focus for what we want to do moving forward to help improve the town as a whole, traffic related. So the next thing on my list here is the Shore Road sidewalk. As many of you have probably seen, there is a new sidewalk that was completed this summer on Shore Road between Tomac and Sound Beach. We are asking for money in this upcoming year's budget that they're going to be reviewing next week. We're on the docket for that. And so we're requesting money to start studying, doing the feasibility of a sidewalk from Sound Beach Avenue towards the beach on Shore Road. So that's, and in addition, a small other stretch between Tomac and the town line. So that's the two segments that are part of that study. So this is where we're looking at. We do understand that that's a very high pedestrian, bicycle, all types of people utilizing the area. We also find it a very challenging area to do that because it is fairly narrow roads, narrow area. So it's going to be challenging to do this, and that's what we need to start this feasibility study on to see is there, how could we do this if we are going to move it forward? So that's what this is for. So hopefully there'll be support to get that budget item moved forward and approved by the May timeframe. And then this question's come up a couple different times. During our Sound Beach Avenue Bridge project, there was a sign in the, what we call the reading room, that little area kind of across this kind of opposite corner as the library, that had the kind of the traditional Old Greenwich sign look. And it was in very poor shape when we started the project, and they took it down in order to construct the project. And we are going to be getting a new one put there. In addition, the sign that is currently in the middle of the circle over by, at the end of West End, down by Summit and Riverside, that sign we're going to be replacing as well. And then there's one other sign that is right on the Stanford border that is over by the pump station.
Can you describe it?
It's got the little green witch on it right now. So if you've seen that one's going to be replaced as well with the kind of the traditional white sign there. So those three signs are being replaced. Typically, the town does not replace those signs. Those signs are, a lot of these signs that you see all across town, just so everyone's aware, if they're the white and black signs or street signs that look like that, that might say the name of your road, those were not done by the town's public works department. Those were all funded in a private manner. Because we have had projects going on near these three locations, we are taking on the replacement of these signs. However, moving forward, just want everybody to be aware, these are the responsibility of the overall neighborhood. So,
But we were a nudge, and we did write you a lot of emails.
yes.
Thank you.
So yes, so these will be replaced now, and hopefully they won't need to be replaced for another 40 years. So, but just making everyone aware that these will be done fairly soon. One little minor thing that did come up and was discussed, the one that's at the end of at the circle down by the tunnel there, it's going to say "Welcome to Old Greenwich" on one side. It's going to say "Welcome to Riverside" on the other side as you're going the other way.
Just don't put it in backwards.
And it's like, I think Old Greenwich is established 1640, and Riverside it says 1855-ish, something like that. So you guys are at least older, I guess. So, but yeah, so with that, that's pretty much what we got going on in your guys' neighborhood. We got plenty of other stuff going on across town, but I just wanted to share with that. So, thank you.
And that saves us from when I insulted Pete's sign the other year. If anybody remembers, that was embarrassing. Okay, James, where are you? James Waters.
Yeah.
There you are, to talk to us about the Old Greenwich School renovation and update us. Thank you.
Let me get the right one up here. Sorry, let me open the file, sorry. No worries.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. While Mark's getting, oh, there it is.
There you go.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Ask you to receive.
My name is James Waters. I'm the chairman of the Old Greenwich School Building Committee. I'm also the chairman of the RTM Budget Overview Committee. I wear two hats, but tonight I'm only going to be talking about what's so important to all of you, which is the Old Greenwich School. Tonight I want to give you a little bit of an insider's look at the planning work that's been going on for the OGS renovation. Last year, you may recall, I came and spoke with all of you. We were just getting started. We were just hiring our project team. Carolyn asked if I could share any slides with all of you. I said, we're not there yet. Well, tonight we have something to show you. I'll get to that in a second. So, but first I want to make sure everybody's aware that a lot of thanks are in order. We have a bunch of the members of our building committee in the room tonight. We have Jackie Welsh, who's the vice chair. We have Barbara O'Neill, who is our secretary. We have Molly Salibi, who's the RTM rep. And we have Janet Stone McGuigan, who's the Board of Selectmen rep. I will take this opportunity to invite all of you to come to a building committee meeting. They are Tuesdays at 7 a.m. at OGS. You are more than welcome. We meet just about every week, and it's a really good group. You may have heard around town that this building committee has gotten a lot of credit, to include from the first selectman and others, for being such an efficient and effective building committee. You have to be in the room to watch that, to really understand it. This is a great team. And these guys have been working really hard for you for over a year. And they are, just from my perspective, truly a pleasure to work with. If we could clone the people I pointed out in this room and the 10 or so others who are not able to be here tonight, we would get so much done in this town. So I do want to also thank the first selectman. Last year, I reported that our project was not included in his budget request. This year, that last week, in fact, our full construction funding was included in the capital budget that has been proposed to the BET. This would enable us to start construction in the summer of 2025, if the BET approves those funds. Indeed, everybody is lining up behind this project, to include the Board of Selectmen, the Board of Education, the Planning and Zoning Commission, whose chair is here tonight. The Architectural Review Committee has approved our project, and the RTM. We do still need to work on the BET, but I've been thrilled at the widespread support around town for the project. And I'm going to also take a second to thank Colleen Jenkins, who's here, who's the chair of District 6, RTM. And you guys may have read that this project received overwhelming support from the RTM in December when we considered its municipal improvement. We had, I believe it was 126 votes for and 4 against. So right now, we are expecting that the project is going to cost $45 million and will receive construction funding this spring. That does require BET and RTM approval. After that, we're going to be submitting our application to the state and hope to be on the priority list that will be released in December, January next year. It's about a 6-month process, and they won't even talk to you until your town has committed construction funding to the project. It's not a serious project in their perspective unless the town's willing to put its money where its mouth is. So we expect also that we'll receive P&Z approval of our final site plan this spring. I was told that I should not expect a cakewalk on that, and I understand, Madam Chairwoman. And we're going to have our construction documents finished this summer. So please come join us anytime, 7 a.m. Tuesdays. Our meetings are publicly noticed as required, and they're open to you anytime you'd like. Now, let's get to what you want to see, the slides. So Mark, I'd ask you to maybe go to the first slide, and I'll maybe take a step back so I don't get in anybody's way. So, okay, Google Maps, you know where the school is. Let's go to the next one. Okay, this is the existing site conditions, as architects and construction folks like to say. So this is, just a bird's eye view of what the school looks like. Go to the next slide, please. This is our overall site plan. Don't worry, I'm going to get into a little bit more detail if you can't see all the detail right there. But this is the plan. This is the plan as per the education specifications that were approved by the Board of Ed over 2 years ago. Okay, next, please. A little bit zoomed in. So key things I just want to point out to you. So first and foremost, there's a significant amount of work going to happen on the entry plaza on the right-hand side of the screen. There is significant amount of work going to happen in the back of the school where there will be a new addition. And there's going to be a significant amount of work to address drainage, sewer problems, as I think all of you are well aware here in Old Greenwich. The building will get a building-wide HVAC system. It will get a building-wide sprinkler system, so it's compliant with the fire code. It will be fully ADA compliant throughout, as per our agreement with the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights, which is signed off on our plan. I'm forgetting other things, but those are the main ones. Let's go to the next. All right. This is where it can get a little bit interesting if you haven't seen it yet. So this is what it looks like today. Next slide, please. That is what it's going to look like after we're done with this. We are going to be removing the front stairs, which are wholly inaccessible. We have gotten a lot of really positive feedback about doing so. There will be one single entry for all on the main floor. And you'll see a little bit of kind of reshaping the plot. We heard repeatedly that the plaza is really important to people in the community and the parents and the teachers. And and you're going to see some new trees. Okay, next. Just a little bit of a different angle. You can see that new entry. I'm going to point out that that new entryway is going to be have a secure vestibule. Okay, the current entryway is not secure, not a secure vestibule. Here's a little look at the interior. As you walk in, this is the front door right there. And you're going to have, it's not going to be that wide, right? But it will have a sort of a straight path, and will help connect the various portions of the building a little bit better. But most importantly, anybody who is in a wheelchair or is on crutches or whatever it is not going to need to enter the school by a dumpster. Okay? They're going to be able to enter through the front door with dignity. Okay, next. This is a little bit of from the southwest corner. Look at the addition with the new playscapes. Got a lot of comments from the Architectural Review Committee. A lot of work went into sort of trying to perfect this and get really, people like Mark have come and met with us and talked about neighbor perspectives, especially those who literally look onto the school. And we've tried to incorporate their feedback. Next, please. That's just the new addition from a different angle. See a little pathway into this corridor.
That's where it attaches to the school, I guess. Right?
Correct. Yep. Next. Okay. I'm not going to spend too much time on floor plans because it's kind of hard for people to see, but I want to just point out a couple things. Where you see blue, that's new. It doesn't exist today. Where you see red, that's something that's going to require a pretty extensive renovation, either to make it ADA compliant or to address the sewer drainage issues which have plagued this first floor of the school. And you'll see in the little bitty corner right there, that's going to be an elevator. Okay, so if you break your leg skiing, you're going to be able to have class with your class, not being stuck in the basement by yourself. Okay, next. You'll see that some of the other areas of the school are getting, some minor renovations. This right here is currently the front office, which will now be on the first floor. This security protocols ask that the office have direct line of sight to people entering through the main entrance. They will have that in this, and those spaces will be repurposed to include for some specialists, who have substandard office spaces right now to include, having kids in closets, which is, in my mind, unacceptable. Okay, next. And again, third floor, you're going to see, so one of the things that's, the sea of white on here, right? All of those rooms are going to get HVAC. All of those rooms are going to get sprinkler systems, right? We're just not going to touch every single thing in every single room, right? That's not what the ed specs call for. That's not in the budget for what the designs we're putting together. But rather than make the whole thing look red, we wanted to just focus on some of those key areas. Again, key things, ADA accessibility in the building. There will be at least one classroom for each grade level that will be ADA compliant as required by the 2010 ADA standards. Okay, next. A little bit on trees. Everybody loves the trees. We are going to unfortunately lose 5 trees. We are going to add 13. This has been coordinated with the tree warden. Continue to do more on that. It'll be normal public hearing processes, but that's the game plan. So we're going to more than double the trees that we're losing. And next. Okay, a little bit on the timeline. this is like a complicated thing. I spent about an hour last week trying to figure out how do I show this timeline. So we have all these charts in Excel that, I mean, it's hard to explain, but this gives a nice little overview, right? You see the feasibility committee, which decided what the renovation was going to look like in 21, approved ed specs. We formed a building committee in 22, fall of 22. Last year, we hired a project team. We did the schematic design process. We got the ed specs tweaked a little bit by the Board of Ed. We revised the budget with the Board of Ed. We got our municipal improvement approval from P&Z and then by the RTM. And we got approval from OCR, which is a big thing. We don't, I don't think, lawsuits against one of our public schools aren't a good thing. That approval, by the way, requires that we start construction next summer of 2025. And if there's any change to the project's design or schedule, their approval is rescinded. So, all right, this year we're just finishing. I wanted to put like a big red circle around this because we're just finishing our drawings and our estimators are working. They're going to have numbers for us in about a month. We're working on local funding approvals, which I mentioned. We'll go to P&Z for our site plan approval. Our team's working on our phasing plan, construction documents this summer, and then state, right? And then, we got a little bit more. Bottom line is, people say, why couldn't you start like right away? And this project is estimated at this point to get about 15.6% reimbursement from the state. If you want to get that money, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's like $7 million that we're going to get back. If you want to get that money, you have to wait to go through the state process before you go out to bid. So that's why I would love to start tomorrow if we could, but that's not how it works. And then you'll see kind of our phased occupied renovation starting next summer. It's going to be 30 to 36 months. And our latest estimate, $45.0 million. That's all I have to share with you tonight. But, I'm more than happy for feedback. We've gotten really good input from the community, and I'm really thankful for it. And, I can't thank all of you and all the members of this building committee for just, supreme mission focus. In a previous life, I was all about mission focus. All right. And I can tell you this team is all about mission focus. So thank you.
Hello. Thank you so much. And Pete Uri, your turn.
So I was asked to come this evening and speak a little bit about the Friends of Benning Park. But before I do, I want to tell you I did something yesterday which was a great deal of fun. I went to the Historical Society and I saw 100+ years of documents and paper that had been collected by the Garden Club of Old Greenwich, which is having their 100th anniversary this coming year. Okay, so if you haven't donated, I might as well say it because they may not, to the Old Greenwich Garden Club, Garden Club of Old Greenwich, or if you have any documents about the Garden Club historically, now is a great time to turn them over to a member that you know, or if to not, I think Linda Bruno is here in the room. Linda, where are you? See Linda back there? Okay. She'll accept them. She didn't know that, but she will anyway. So that's what we're going to do that. Okay. And now I'm going to say, in the same vein, very quickly, that I joined the Old Greenwich Association probably in 1980. Okay. And I was a member. I was a president 3 times. I was involved until 2013. We got flooded by Sandy. and I had to move to Riverside, and the OGA kicked me out. Okay? A lot of documents that I had collected got flooded in Sandy, and I lost some of those. But I will bet you there are people in this room who have documents relating to the progress of the Old Greenwich Association, which got started, by the way, Mr. Jim would want to know, Mr. Waters, you would be interested to know the Old Greenwich Association, to my understanding, got started because there was a concern Old Greenwich School was going to close because of declining enrollment. Okay. So if you have anything, Carolyn Peterson will accept kind of information. Okay.
And
So that's it.
I've been given a bin and I've gone through some and it's really fun, which is how we brought back. I forgot to say we're doing the Old Greenwich Award this evening, so stick around. Mr. Yuri got it last year, but we brought it back because I read about it and I read about your weird mattress race.
Oh, yeah, the bed race. Who remembers the bed race? Anybody in this room? Oh, no. That's awful. That's awful. The bed race was the best damn thing we've done in this town in 20 years. Okay. This is how Lyle Gibbons got a start on her political career. Her campaign manager was Irv Porter. We closed off Arcadia Street, and merchants and other individuals, the Old Greenwich Garden Club, I don't think their garden club did it, but the yacht club did certainly, and that was memorable. We had beds made, and we had a race that went from the post office down to Sound Beach Avenue and turned around and went back the other way. I distinctly remember the Old Greenwich Yacht Club bed veered to the left with its bowsprit and very nearly speared somebody. And I don't think that's part of the reason we didn't do it again. There is a video, and Marcos Torno, who owns Images, I believe, has it located someplace. Anyway, enough of that. So I'm up here to talk about the Friends of Benny Park. What is the Friends of Benny Park? It's been around forever, too, in different reincarnations. I resurrected it about a year ago. We've had a hell of a good year. We've made lots of progress. We met in this room with a crowd about this size about 10 days ago to talk about our progress. What are we? We're a bunch of volunteers who care about Benny Park and its future. There's a rich history in our community. It's a super park. We've done a lot of things over the last year. We planted daffodils. We co-funded a bronze plaque replacement honoring Dorothy Hamill, the figure skater who first learned to skate over on Benny Pond. We got involved in the opening of the Benny Kitchell Natural Park opposite Perrant Library, 10 acres of woodland, basically hadn't been touched since the 1930s. We are planning for the future now to complete the Stone Dust Trail, which was part of a master plan established for Benny Park in 2015. That would run from the south end down by the Ball Diamonds where that little dam was, and we lost a bridge. A new bridge is going to go in there, and it's going to cross over. And as soon as Mr. Michaels finishes with the Wescombe Wood Bridge, then we're going to run a stone dust path up and around and do that. That's one thing we want to do. We want to do a natural garden up on the Hillside Annex. We plan to do more things in Benny Kitchell, and I'm going to turn the mic back over to Carol.
And it's a wonderful organization to brought back, so important. I can't believe we hadn't had it. So thank you, Pete. And Fred is here. So hi, come.
Thank you, Carolyn. Good evening, everybody. Carolyn said do this in 3 minutes, so I promised to do it in 2. So we presented the budget last week, and the highlights that really concern Old Greenwich, we put in for another sidewalk to continue what we did over on on Shore Road. So hopefully it's before the BET. I'll be getting grilled tomorrow morning on that. It's a little harder, that one, because it would involve taking of some property, but we have some ideas there to make that, hopefully, the discussion to progress. So more on that, but the first sidewalk, I don't know if Maggie Bound is here, but yeah, they were terrific. So, thank you. So that's one thing. You just heard James talk about Old Greenwich School. We put 43 million, up 4 million from last year, and we don't want to be sitting here next year talking about it again because it won't be 43 million. It'll probably be 50 million. So that's another thing. The Cohen Eastern Greenwich Civic Center, that's exciting. The funding there has been already secured, but just an update there. We should be finished with that in the summer. If you're going by it now, it's really progressing. It's taking shape now. It's a beautiful building. It's going to be really a fantastic asset for the Old Greenwich community and for the Greenwich community at large. We're hoping to do a ribbon cutting there in the fall. Originally, it was thought when we first started, it would be more towards the end of the year, but we're doing pretty well there, so I'm hoping it's a little bit earlier than that. And then the other thing is, Jim's probably going to talk about the bike path. Have you spoken yet? Yeah. Okay, very good. Okay, so I won't touch that. Any questions for me? Told you it'd be short. I probably went over the 3. No questions? That's a good crowd. Thank you.
Moving on.
Thank you.
Thank you for making it here. And Jane is going to come up and talk to us about the Friends of Greenwich Point Park. Please, thank you.
All right, another 3-minute overview. So Friends of Greenwich Point has been around since 1956 or so. We cut back a lot during COVID on the things that we did, but we are back in force. We had our comedy night this year. We had holiday ornament. We had 4 summer concerts. Thank you to the Parks Department for partnering with us on those. Get us set out there. We continue to do art shows, Safe Road Sundays, scholarships, and then we have a thank you lunch for the park people at the holiday time. But most importantly, this year we built a water park, a water garden up by the mansion area. There was no fresh water anywhere in the park. And so over the period of a couple of years, we designed it. We got our TIM approval. Thank you all for that. And we built it last summer. And, the week that the town was covered in smoke coming out of the wildfires in Canada, we were able to put the water feature into service and fresh water for the birds. And it's still running, I think, throughout the winter. So that's like a nice thing we're able to do through membership donations. We also have been working on the South Beach, kind of that little beach area. If you walk the perimeter of the park, had a lot of erosions and issues. So we're trying something new. We put in some dune grass. We put in additional trees, and we put in a bunch of bushes. And we're hoping that will help save the sand and kind of stabilize things. But it's a work in progress. So you'll see over the next year or so more work being done there. Anybody who was at the park this weekend, we placed, with the help of the Parks Department, over 600 recycled Christmas trees against the first dune, and then against the fence along this, what we call the South Beach. Terrific work. We had lots of high school students. Next year we'll reach out to your junior committee as well. We had over 35 volunteers from the community and the school, and a lot of help from the Parks Department to make sure that we got it right, and the Conservation Department, who signed off on the work as well. And then we just do our regular work, adding adding to the park in different ways. Any questions? I'm going to put out some newsletters afterwards. Yes.
What is the Chimes Tower?
Chimes Tower is not us, but maybe
That's the
somebody from there.
Conservancy, and they
That's
weren't able to
Conservancy.
update, they were invited for tonight, but they weren't able to update for tonight, but we'll get you something. Can you speak about it?
No, I was gonna say, have we thought about, potentially lighting the park around Christmas time with more festive Christmas lights? Is that something that would be within the scope?
It's a great idea, but the park closes at sunset, so there's not a whole lot we can do. But it is. I know Binney Park has the lights, and they're beautiful. And the Parks Department work with you on it, or they do it themselves? They do it themselves.
We used to do it when they took over.
Got it. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Darren did it, and they had a long ladder.
Yeah. Yeah, all good.
Thank you so much. And it's an appropriate time to remind you that on April 27th, the annual beach cleanup, Live Like Luke, will be on at the Point. So we'll make sure to communicate that, and please earmark that, super important. But we will stay with the environment and all good things. And Martina, can you speak about the garden club, please? Thank you.
So first, I have to thank Peter for talking about our display yesterday. We are celebrating our 100th anniversary this year, and we are actually having some occasions to celebrate on that. We're also doing a display at Town Hall of our, in the display cases in the front there of historical memorabilia. So hopefully sometime in March that will come up and you'll be able to look at it. So just wanted to let you know that, we have been involved with maintaining and caring for the plantings and pots out on Sound Beach in Arcadia. This past year, we also redid a roundabout at Tomac and Shore Road that has a plaque to Helen, what is the lady's name? Mary Binney. So there's a plaque. Mary Binney Davies. So we planted that, and the town very kindly, as part of their sidewalk project, relined it with Belgian block, which makes it look so much better. Many of the things that we do is we care for a butterfly garden at the Point that's on the former part of the Todd Mansion with native plants. We also care for the plantings in front of the Innis Arden, and that between that and the pavilion. We're looking for lots of volunteers. We'd love to have you join us and help us make this town beautiful. A couple of other things that we do. We have a garden therapy committee, which works with Pathways and Coscob and Hill House. We've been doing that for about 40 years. And we have formed a relationship with the Perot Library. So we not only bring 3 times a year Zoom talks from different speakers that are from all over the country on gardening and environmental issues. We also have workshops that we're having an upcoming one. I believe it's April 1st on seed planting and starting your seeds. So that will be something that will be coming out. And we've also developed another stronger relationship through our juniors committee, where we go in with the Perot Library and provide workshops for the young people, such as making pine cone feeders, painting clay pots, and giving them miniature sunflowers and so on. So it's an opportunity for younger people and young at heart to partake in that. We also celebrate the art of floral design and the study of horticulture. We're encouraging members to explore their artistic nature and garden expertise through workshops and exhibiting in flower shows. Since Peter already mentioned that we're doing the 100th anniversary, again, we are having a big effort towards celebrating that, and hopefully you will see some more things come out during the year on that. Thank you so much.
And Svetlana, can we hear about Quiet Yards Greenwich, please, with an update there? who's speaking.
Hi, everyone. I'm Svetlana Wasserman from Quiet Yards Greenwich. This is my partner.
Oh, hi, I'm Leslie Petrick. Some of you might remember, some of the older group in the crowd might remember my parents, Lydia and Jim Anderson. And I'm just going to hand it over to Svetlana, but I want to say this was a 2-year effort and there were a lot of ups and downs. And the support from people in Old Greenwich was really wonderful. And I think you did help us get it over the finish line. So thank you so much.
Thank you. So what Leslie is referring to is big news for Greenwich. Residents will no longer have to listen and breathe the fumes from gas-powered leaf blowers during the summers. That passed in the RTM at the vote last week, 2 weeks. And this was actually a 30-year effort. The first effort was begun in 1992 by another group. And then there was a second generation effort in the around 2011. I'm pleased to say that we have finally brought closure to this issue. Yeah, and thank you to all the RTM members here. Thank you to the RTM members who voted to pass this, and to all of the residents of Old Greenwich who sent letters to the RTM. We were told that they have never received so many letters on an issue before them, and the letters were overwhelmingly for summer restrictions. So starting this year, gas leaf blowers are not permitted on residential properties from 6 p.m. the Friday before Memorial Day, which this year is May 24th, until September 30th. For properties over 2 acres, gas leaf blowers may start to be used after Labor Day. Also, there's no commercial use of gas leaf blowers allowed on Sundays all throughout the year. We have a handout on the food table, which we welcome you to take, summarizing these hours. Pre-existing rules are still in effect. Only 1 leaf blower is permitted on properties that are 1/4 acre or less. And during the months when gas leaf blowers are allowed, they can only be used between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on weekends, except no commercial use on Sundays. If you see a violation in progress, you're invited to call the police non-emergency number, and that phone number is on the flyer. The next challenge is making sure that landscapers working in town are aware of these new rules. We'll be working with the First Selectman's Office and the Conservation Commission and the police to develop an outreach plan. But we really need the help of you to inform your landscapers, your neighbors of these new rules, since there are so many smaller lawn care teams working in Greenwich and there's no registry of all of them. So it really is our responsibility to make sure that our landscapers and the people living around us know. Conservation Department is also planning an electric expo fair. I think it'll be February 29th. The date is still not quite finalized, where you can meet landscapers who provide electric lawn care or just get your questions answered about how to use the equipment. So thank you so much.
So we just have a couple more speakers, so hang tight, and then we're going to do the OG Award. Okay, so Janet, will you come speak for the Greenwich Sustainability Committee? Thank you.
So happy to. I'm thrilled to be here. But truth in advertising, I do have a lot of updates, but I'll try to be quick because I do know I stand between you and the award. But we'll start with some basics. The Sustainability Committee is a very welcoming body made up of individuals and nonprofits in town whose mission is to communicate, educate, collaborate, and advocate for sustainability in the community. With a few exceptions, the committee meets the first Thursday of the month at 11 o'clock, always by Zoom, and also in person when we have the town hall meeting room available to us. So anyone is welcome to attend. Please go to the town calendar for meeting details. That's www.greenwichct.gov. So 2024 has just begun and the committee is already hard at work. Just last week, many members attended an environmental summit hosted by the Connecticut League of Conservation Voters in Hartford. And at our regular meeting this Thursday, we will learn more from our state delegation about sustainability-related bills that will be under consideration in Hartford during this legislative term that starts next week. Last year, the committee inaugurated a very popular speaker series, and more programs are in the work for this year. One program, it's actually being hosted by the League of Women Voters of Greenwich and co-sponsored by the Sustainability Committee, that will take place by Zoom on Monday, February 26th from 11 to 11:45, titled Tackling Climate Change, the Importance of Finding Bipartisan Solutions. And registrations required. Please go to www.lwvgreenwich.org. This program will be followed by another webinar on Tuesday, February 27th at 7 p.m. on geothermal energy. A Zoom link will be available soon on the town calendar. And the committee's waste reduction and business sectors, in partnership with Waste Free Greenwich, have just launched the Green Salon Challenge, a program to foster environmental responsibility and sustainable practices for local hair salons. The idea behind the challenge is for salons not only to minimize their environmental footprint, but to build revenue, gain clients, and even save money. Greenwich youth are playing a pivotal role in this challenge, having assisted with the initial research and by collaborating on digital content and outreach. The Sustainability Committee and Waste Free Greenwich are now recruiting local hair salons to join the challenge. For more information, again, please go to wastefreegreenwich.org. And it's never too early to talk about Earth Day. Every day should be Earth Day, and it's always a cause for celebration when our town marks it with an Earth Day proclamation. This year, the plan is to read the proclamation in conjunction with Waste Free Greenwich's Rethink Waste Fair at Christ Church on Saturday, April 6th. At that time, the committee will announce this year's Sustainability Award winners, so stay tuned for more details about this event. Earlier this month, the Board of Selectmen voted to approve a climate action plan that was drafted by a working group of the town's Conservation Commission. Members of the Sustainability Committee assisted in this effort, and the Sustainability Committee supports this plan. This plan recommends updating and following up on plans the town already has on its shelves. There are state and federal funds available to support the projects recommended by these plans, but only if we have a working climate action plan in place. That will require a modest investment by the town, and given that the budget season just kicked off last week, I hope that our residents will now read that adopted climate action plan and ask our finance board to support it. And while the Energy Management Advisory Committee, or EMAC, is its own committee, the Sustainability Committee very much supports its work. Last week, the Board of Selectmen was presented with EMAC's annual report for 2023. It's highly recommended reading. Again, it can be found on the town website. Spoiler alert, while the town is making progress in some areas, generally speaking, the trend in energy cost is going the wrong way. But one success story is the solar panels in store for the Cohen Eastern Greenwich Civic Center. Outbound riders of Metro North should be able to see them going up this spring. So that's very exciting. And at last week's Board of Selectmen meeting, also, the selectmen approved a small increase in tipping fees. And while we didn't hear very much in the way of public concern, what should be of concern to all residents is that the amount of waste going to Holly Hill is going up, not down. To quote Amy Siebert, the Commissioner of Public Works for the town, please reduce. That is the real solution to our waste problems. There is a misconception, I think, that the town is not actually recycling. Indeed, recycling is happening. And while it costs $120 per ton to dispose of municipal waste, it only costs $67 per ton to haul away recycling. So if anyone has any questions about how to recycle, please use the town's Waste Wizard or go to www.wastefreegreenwich.org. So I know that's a lot to take in, so I'll say, if you want to keep up with what's going on, please subscribe to the Sustainability Committee's excellent periodic newsletter. Again, go to the town website, and there is also a link in the Friday Community Connections e-blast from the Office of the First Selectman. And lastly, while this doesn't come under the auspices of the Sustainability Committee, the plug I'm about to make is very much related to sustainability concerns in the town. The Flood Erosion Control Board is a volunteer board that meets 5 times a year and is looking for new members. An engineering or science background is desirable, but by no means required. So if you or someone you know might be interested, please let me or the Office of the First Selectman know. The Board of Selectmen, we don't appoint these members, but it actually comes under the RTM, but we can certainly help you go in the right direction. So thank you so much for your attention.
Very simple thing. I was figured, you said a waste wizard, for instance, once in a while you pick up a product and you say, I wonder if I could put this in recycling. So I'm just, is there a waste wizard would show more of the products? Because I just had this discussion last night with someone, and I said, well, I think you can put it in the recycling, and she said, I don't think you can. So, I think, is there somewhere where you could look up an actual?
Well, that's what the waste wizard
Is
is.
that what it is? It's
Yes.
called, and so maybe you should publicize that more, because I did keep the actual card that said what to do.
We'll definitely get you on Julie's newsletter, and that will explain how the waste wizard
Okay, I
works.
appreciate that. Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Darren and then one other. Almost there. So Darren is going to be quick. You have to be quick.
On an easy topic, yes.
I know, but a lot of good information about stuff I need to know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon or good evening. I'm Darren Schneider. I've been living in OG for about 16 years now and volunteering at the Old Greenwich Association for about 8. Tough projects usually fall by me or onto me. So I read with Pete Uri last time of hanging Christmas lights for 5 years. Those lanterns are 10 feet tall, by the way, and Mark and Dave could also attest to that. Old Greenwich train station was the next project. We didn't get as far as we wanted to with the OGA, but we tried. And now this project for the Stop I-95 noise, which is a large project undergone by the DOT in Connecticut. So the good news is that the OGA Association spoke to the DOT in September 2023, and recently, last week, they also spoke to the Riverside Association. We will post the links of the DOT video presentations presented to us as soon as they're posted on their website. A number of things to note. The DOT will be using 2 different types of quiet pavement when they repave I-95 from New York border to exit 7. This will be the first time that Connecticut has used this pavement, and the DOT acknowledged that, it's been very successful in other states and other towns for many years. The new pavement was not an approved mitigation method, but it's apparently helping to reduce the noise decibels by 3. That is not the number we're looking to achieve. We're looking somewhere in like a double-digit thing. This is not a, this is just it's to provide the Greenwich community some relief. The paving will start in the spring of 2024 and go through 2025, and the road would be ground down to concrete and ultimately will have a 15-year lifespan. The DOT Commission also acknowledged that he recognizes that the section of I-95 is the gateway to New England and will work to improve the landscaping. There's been numerous complaints, I think over probably 8,000 complaints of the horrific job that they did clear cutting all the trees pretty much throughout the whole border. So, so moving on. DOT Pell Group indicated that the traffic study is done, and they've learned that there's 135,000 cars a day on I-95, 17,000 a day on Route 1, and they'll be looking into study and improve conditions on both I-95 and Route 1. We did ask questions if you know the number of trucks versus cars, because it seems like it's so darn loud around here with everything. The short answer is yes, and they're analyzing this point in some of their future analyses. So that's that. They did acknowledge that exit 5 is a problem, and they're going to work to develop both the short-term and long-term solutions. So the next phase, again, is a fairly large project, is now that they have this planning environmental linkage report, that's the .PEL, and that starts very soon. It starts in March of 2024. So the community can get involved, and I'll get a little bit on that, but they could sign up in a newsletter, and we're going to publish this on the Old Greenwich Association website, where you could look at the most up-to-date information, and you also can email them directly as well. So the noise study, so really what the greatest part about this is not only Old Greenwich Association, but the other 11 associations in Greenwich. I'll have to say every single one of those associations have stepped up. All 12 of those met with the DOT, and everyone had a full packed room of people and voices. And I'll have to say, as the DOT is a large body that probably doesn't give a hoot about lots of things, all 12 associations really fought super hard, including the OGA. And so I have to really give credit to a lot of these associations for really getting their voices heard. And a lot of people stepped up and wrote numerous letters and numerous complaints. So it's finally nice to have the DOT start acknowledging, all this hard work from all these volunteers in Greenwich. So the noise study still needs to get done. Now, just remember, they don't need to do a noise study. It's not required. With all these hoopla of all these Greenwich residents, and more importantly, the 12 neighborhood associations that met individually with the DOT, including us, the OGA, they are doing a noise study. So that needs to get done. Hopefully it's nice weather, because there's more noise when there's nice weather. It's not being tramped out by the rain. And they're gonna gather data from the noise study. They hope to have that completed in early March, and they will have 20 noise receptacles throughout the 7-mile stretch from the New York border to exit, I think 7, or exit 5, excuse me. So the commissioner indicated that the DOT finished a Pell study in Hartford, and they came away with 60 projects, ranging from things that could be done immediately or those that would require Federal Highway Authority approval. The process takes time, and the Pell advisory group needs to review, several criteria to evaluate many options. But it is good to know that 60 things have come up with this Pell study in Hartford. The Pell study in Greenwich is on the way shortly. So, all the 12 organizations and all the Greenwich residents and everyone has highlighted that they know that there's a noise issue. The DOT acknowledged that. The DOT acknowledges that there's water pollution, there's particulate matter, there's congestion, and exit 5 shopping center is also super congested as well. So closing points, the good news is we fought hard for the new asphalt, and the DOT met with all 12 Greenwich associations. Every single one, again, was packed to the gills. They're doing a noise study because of these hearings. Again, they're not required. The cons are that it could stay a tier 2 level project, which is not as important for Greenwich, it's not as important for the DOT, but we believe that it will be upgraded to a tier 1 project because it's hard to believe that the DOT would do all this work and all this extra planning and all these noise studies and then not come to a better outcome for a tier 1. So, we hope to update you shortly when some other information is available. It will all be on the Old Greenwich website. And I have to also give kudos to our first selectman, Fred. He's also fighting hard and has been in all these association meetings as well. So there is a phone number lastly, and we'll put this on the website, and an email address as well if you have any other comments and concerns with this large project. But thank you.
And our last speaker is Candace Garthwaite. Just a quick word. And then the OG award. Are we good? I know. We did okay though, right? Okay, thanks, Candace.
Sure. Good evening. Candace Garthwaite. I've lived in Old Greenwich for 30 years and been involved in a number of different projects. This one is new. It's a village district. So let me just try to bring you up to date with what's going on. And of course, the Old Greenwich Association will keep you informed as well. So a coalition of residents are preparing to submit a village district overlay proposal to the Planning and Zoning Commission in the next few weeks. An Old Greenwich Village District is consistent with recommendations in the 2009 and 2019 Plans of Conservation and Development, or the POCD. The goal is to preserve and maintain the distinctive look of the village as it relates to the use, scale, and facades of existing buildings. Any new construction or major renovations will be reviewed so as to maintain a continuity of scale and proportion of what is already in the village. We also want to make sure that Old Greenwich continues to be pedestrian friendly with its diverse and engaging shops, restaurants, and services. It is important to note that the Old Greenwich Local Business Retail Zoning, or the LBR2, already provides guidelines for commercial development. The Village District Overlay will simply provide an extra layer of review, yet will not materially change these regulations. It is Connecticut Statute 8-2J that allows for the protection of distinctive areas like Old Greenwich. Here I'm going to quote the statute, so hang in there with me. Quote, "The zoning commission of each municipality may establish village districts as part of the zoning regulations adopted under section 8-2. Such districts will be located in areas of distinctive character, landscape, or historic value that are specifically identified in the Plan of Conservation and Development of the municipality." In other words, Statute 8-2 allows for this extra layer of review when it comes to the design and placement of buildings and the maintenance of public views. This is for the commercial area of Old Greenwich. 26 Connecticut towns have village districts, and some have more than one. Norwalk has 4, including Rowayton, East Norwalk, Silvermine, and other examples include Wilton, Ridgefield, New Canaan, Weston, West Haven, Madison, and Glastonbury, to name a few. Next time you're walking or driving through the village, take a careful look at some of the more distinctive buildings. Look at the facades, fenestrations, and the use of stones and brick. Also note the size and placement and trim of windows. How do these different buildings relate to each other? So it's really the village district overlay will be to try to maintain a continuity and proportion for the village. So we have actually Patrick LaRoe here tonight. He's the director of the Planning and Zoning Department. And we have Margarita Alban, who's chair of the Planning and Zoning Commission. So we will be submitting this proposal via the department to go to the Planning and Zoning Commission, and we will need their agreement, their positive vote to have this designation of village district overlay for Old Greenwich. So we're trying to move this along, and certainly there will be a public hearing once this proposal goes before Planning and Zoning. And of course, OGA will keep you informed.
Absolutely. Thank you, Candace. Thank you. So I hope you're full of information. Yes? Good. Okay. Good, good, good. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And those speakers, most absolutely. Should we do the Old Greenwich Award? Mark, are you doing it?
Yep, I'll, let me
Okay.
just get the slide ready, yep.
How about I read this? So the Old Greenwich Award recognizes the significant contribution of an individual or group to the enhancement of the Old Greenwich community. And Mark is going to give it along with Alan.
Thank you, everyone. Yep. So I'm going to read a little bit about IRF, and we're honored to honor him tonight for his contributions to Old Greenwich and the town at large. So Irf was a father of 5, grandfather of 12, friend and coach and community leader. He was born in the Catskills and grew up in Roscoe, New York, Trout Town, USA, and loved playing baseball, basketball, football, and of course, fly fishing in the legendary local streams. He enjoyed music and played the drums and ukulele from an early age. He graced many choirs with his beautiful tenor voice throughout the years. Irf served in the U.S. Army for 2 years as an airborne artillery officer in post-war Korea. After his service, he joined Union Carbide, where he worked for 28 years. Irf and his family came to Old Greenwich in 1974. Irf was devoted to his family, friends, his church, his community, and his country. Greenwich knows him for his contributions to the Boy Scouts, Greenwich Old Timers, American Legion, Boys and Girls State Commission, Eastern Greenwich Civic Center Committee, and the Greenwich Choral Society. He coached youth football, basketball, baseball, and founded the Gateway Youth Football League, GYFL. And both my sons played in that league. And I actually played in that league as a kid as well. Yeah. He was an active member of the Retired Men's Association, the Melody Men, Sound Beach volunteer band, which you'd see Irf every year at Memorial Day playing in that band, the St. Clement Church Choir. He was also involved in the Republican Town Committee and served for many years on the Greenwich RTM for Districts 6 and 12. And Irf was a pillar of our community. You know, as you can see, he was involved in all aspects of town life. He actually started, spearheaded the initial work on the Civic Center. He'd be proud to see that new building. I remember many phone calls with Irf talking to me and saying, how can you help us? Or who can we call to spread the word with the Old Greenwich Association? He'd be really proud to see that new building. And Irf just touched so many lives. And he was always great and interesting to talk to. I'm sure many people have here had conversation with Irf and remember. He's just a great conversationalist and just so much fun. So it was a huge loss to lose Irf. I know Alan and I knew him from, also from the Old Timers, decades. And he was behind the scenes. So you didn't, when you read something like this or you read his obituary, you don't realize how many, people someone like that has touched. And he was always civic minded and, was just a great individual. And we need more people, to follow in those footsteps to continue to, make this town a great place. That's why we're so good here, right? This place is so great in Greenwich, Old Greenwich, because we have so many volunteers. Look at the building committee, working at Old Greenwich School, the sidewalks that got done. So that's what makes this place special. I've lived here, pretty much all my life. So we'd like if Jane could come up and present this award to her. Try to take a picture if you're okay. You want to say anything or no?
I'm not the speaker in the family, Irf was. And we told him, his children said he couldn't say his name in 3 minutes. So thank you for this. We miss him.
Thank you, everyone. Good night. Sorry.